if there's one thing I talk about on this channel a lot, is police misconduct. And I talked about the ramifications of police misconduct when it comes to the impact of the police departments and the community themselves, right? Um, I talked about many things and other factors that lead to police misconduct, but we're going to expand a little further on this video, and we're going to expose some information that recently came out in the state of California about how these secret deals that are effectively whitewashed police misconduct that have come under increased scrutiny, right? These agreements, often struck behind closed doors, allow law enforcement officers accused of excessive force or unethical behavior to avoid public accountability. And instead of facing disciplinary actions or criminal charges, these officers quietly resign, receive severance packages, or be transferred to different departments without their records reflecting the misconduct. Now, such practices can include NDAs or non-disclosure agreements that prevent details from being exposed to the public, or settlements with victims that prohibit further legal action or commentary on the incident. That's the NDA. So, an article, bombshell article coming from the San Francisco Chronicle, and now we're going to profile the incidents that took place in California. But make no mistake, every last state does it, right? Every last state does it. But one thing about the state of California, we always say is that as goes California, so goes the rest of the nation. So, bombshell article coming from the San Francisco Chronicle. We're going to go behind the locked drawers of file cabinets and police departments all over California, and we're going to see documents that we're not supposed to see. Clean record agreements concealing misconduct of hundreds of officers, helping them land jobs in new and other police departments. Right? They're hitting us with the right to remain silent, Miranda rights. All the meanwhile, they're engaging in the right to remain secret. So it says here, the police officer's career was in peril. 25 years ago, Hasep Arjanian supervisors at the Los Angeles County of Public Safety accused him of flagrant misconduct. They say he had pretended to attend military training to skip work. They had already decided he should be fired when they learned of another litigation. Arjanian's girlfriend said he had grabbed her and pulled her hair while she held their infant son. But the Los Angeles County did something remarkable. The county agreed to hide evidence that Arjanian allegedly lied to dodge work in exchange for the promise to go without a fight. Records documenting the county's findings of misconduct would be removed from his personnel file, and their very existence would be kept secret. His firing would be rescinded. If any employer asked, the county agreed to say that he had resigned, indicating personal reasons. Now, this is Hasep Joe Arjanian, who used to work for that police department. Now, if y'all remember, a few months ago when Sonia Massey was gunned down in her own home by Sean Grayson, right? And then you pull up his record, and then you see all this misconduct while he was in the Army, while he was in other police departments, and that's why he was able to bounce around 4 different police departments in 6 years, right? So we see a similar pattern here out here in California. So again, it's not just in California. Every last state has a situation where officers are getting involved in misconduct, and their records is able to get whitewashed. This is had Joe Biden, when he ran in 2020, right? Had he delivered on his promise of a police accountability commission, this is the type of stuff we would have seen. And there would have been mechanisms in place to address and combat these type of scenarios that's going on in this very day. But see that Police Accountability Commission that current president and Democrat, right, Joe Biden promised, that never came to fruition because it was never designed to come into fruition. It was always designed for you to vote for them. So again, why would I do something when I can sell you an idea on the illusion that I'm going to do something? Right? Anyway, so this is Hasib Joe Arjanian, right? Officers will rescind the proposed disciplinary action and replace the notice of proposed disciplinary action with the aforementioned amended notice, expressly reversing any sustained finding of misconduct. Because had this guy had his misconduct documented properly, it was a good possibility this guy wouldn't be working at all these other police departments. And look at this: the Weed Police Department, Sierra County Sheriff's Office, Del Norte County Sheriff's Office, Mount Shasta Police Department, Susanville Police Department, Department of Veterans Affairs, Sierra Nevada Healthcare System. I mean, look at all these police departments this man has worked at, and he's getting involved in all and doing this misconduct. Then they say in recent years, he's bounced around from one policing job to the next, left one agency soon after a local prosecutor questioned his credibility and ability to testify in court, citing criminal charges he's faced of child abuse, perjury, and witness tampering. Then in 2019, the Sierra County Sheriff's Office near Lake Tahoe accused him of embezzling money. Once again, history rewritten. Then they say just as Los Angeles County has, Sierra County agreed to seal from view every trace of his alleged wrongdoing. The county promised to never disclose how it documented in detail the way Arjanian pilfered agency funds. This man should be in prison right now. What do you mean this guy out here embezzling money? And what? And y'all whitewash that? Just like LA County, Sierra County would deceive anyone asking for a reference. Rather than disclosing that his supervisors had moved to fire him, the county would say that he had voluntarily resigned. Look at this. The cabinet in the office for Sheriff Mike Fisher at the Sierra County Sheriff's Office in Downeyville, where records related to Hasib Joe Arjanian's alleged misconduct are kept separate and sealed at the per the terms of his clean record agreement. Well, they need to abolish that. Why Gavin Newsom haven't stepped in and done something about this yet? A year later, Eric Apperson, then the sheriff of Del Norte County and the California-Oregon border, was deciding whether to hire Arjanian. He was impressed by Arjanian's decades of experience and his background in the military, where he served in the Army and National Guard. A reference check with Sierra County turned up no red flags, so he hired him. Only when he was contacted for the story did Apperson learn why Arjanian had left Sierra County. So, of course, he was shocked by that because nothing turned up any red flags, right? So, speaking hypothetically, he said, if you're asking me if an officer got terminated for embezzlement, would that make a difference to him if he was going to hire him? Yeah, of course, that would make a difference. Now, we're going to talk about this investigation into secret systems of legal settlements that had whitewashed California's police misconduct for decades. So, if this was going on for decades, guess who was in office while this stuff was going on? Oh, and yeah, by the way, she's trying to become president of the United States. So, if this stuff was going on for decades, then guess who has been trying? Or not guess who's been trying. Guess who's been involved in this nonsense? And she's trying to run for president. Because see, again, the shills, plants, operatives, and sellouts and self-serving professional bullshit artists, they're not going to tell you about this Yep. Tell you, man, these politicians are bought and paid for. That would explain why when Latrice Richardson was had something happen to her, right, and the police department was the last group of people to see Latrice Richardson, right, and Kamala Harris had the ability to do something about it, and she didn't do anything about it. The only thing she did was she used it as political football to send to Attorney General and also ascend to the Senate. Yeah, Kamala Harris used that Latrice Richardson case as political football. She didn't actually do anything about it. She'll lock a black person up in prison, though, right? She'll throw a black person in jail with the quickness. But when it comes to holding other executives, when it comes to holding police officers accountable for their action, nah, she got better things to do with her time. Arjania's case is just one example within a secret system of legal settlements that has whitewashed the corruption, criminality, and other misconduct of law enforcement throughout California for decades. An investigation by the San Francisco Chronicle and the UC Berkeley's investigative reporting program found at least 163 police agencies have executed separation agreements concealing misconduct allegations. At least 297 officers and deputies' records obtained by this investigation show. The actual numbers are likely much higher because 1/3 of the police agencies asked to release the agreements refused, citing privacy laws. Now, look at this, right? And again, this doesn't even cover all of the police departments, but look how this thing is splattered all over the screen. All these counties in California, where you have all these police departments. And again, this doesn't even cover all of them. But this is what we got going on here with all this misconduct by all these police officers and these police departments. It is crazy. This is crazy. Now, those whose conduct is hidden by these deals, also known as clean record agreements, include a deputy accused of groping a woman held in a county jail, an officer who investigators determined falsified a police report to link a man to a crime, that's perjury, and a deputy who was found to have violated department policy when he fatally shot a teenager as he lay wounded. What the hell? We covering up murder? So, okay, so this is what's going on right now. We got police officers out here getting doing little petty stuff from excessive force to more serious stuff, from sexual assault to committing murder. You got a police officer that committed a murder and that thing got whitewashed, and he got the Lord have mercy, man. This is crazy. You have a police officer killing somebody as he's laying. Lord have mercy. So this is how the whitewashing of the misconduct works. For decades, law enforcement agencies across California have promised to whitewash police officers' alleged misconduct through confidential settlement agreements. The terms of these clean record agreements vary, but everyone negotiates the departure of a peace officer in exchange for the assurance of secrecy. Yeah, because in this secret society, all we ask is trust. Here's a look at how these deals go down using excerpts from real internal affairs reports and clean record agreements. Multiple victims have alleged that while on duty and in full uniform, you had sexual intercourse with them when they were underage, coerced them under color of authority to have sexual intercourse with them while on duty. You have determined a willingness to misrepresent and or falsify arrest reports. Most notably, your actions have led to one citizen wrongly convicted of a crime, and another to escape prosecution. More than half of the officers who secured clean record agreements uncovered by this investigation also received lump sum payments as part of the deals, totaling $23.7 million. One officer got $3.1 million. At least 5 other officers had secured multiple clean record agreements. In many cases, police departments hid alleged misconduct even while maintaining it occurred. In every case where reporters could establish the outcome of a department's internal investigation through documents or interviews, they found that clean record agreements were given after police agencies had either fired the officer or had begun the process of doing so based on what they saw as clear evidence of wrongdoing. This is crazy. They say in interviews, police chiefs said they reluctantly approve clean record agreements because it is expensive and find it difficult to fire even the worst officers. California public employees have the right to appeal any disciplinary action, including termination. This is where the police unions come in because, again, one thing I always say on this channel, right, is that if there's one entity that get in the way of any kind of police reform or any kind of police accountability, it's these police unions, right? The Fraternal Order of Police, right? They're the biggest ones. They're the biggest entity, right? So when it comes to police accountability and punishment and things of that nature, well, don't expect anything in the form of any kind of reform when you got the police unions in the back pocket of these politicians. That's why we get a Kamala Harris. That's why we get a Val Demings, right? That's how we get these individuals who was either in law enforcement or they were in acting as a prosecutor or a defense attorney, and then they end up becoming your local politicians. They're the ones that's actually writing policy that's having a dramatic impact on your life. It's just cheaper to settle, even if you're 100% right, said Scott Fairfield, former chief of the Bell Gardens Police Department outside of Los Angeles. The clean records agreements obtained by this investigation were in most cases signed between 2012 and 2020, though some were executed as far as back as 1995. They were often negotiated by the same attorneys and shared same identical terms, structures, and language, even those that were approved years apart or by agencies at opposite ends of the state. The central objective always secrecy. Yeah, secrecy. Right? The things that are done in the dark, behind closed doors, when the cameras are off, when the room is silent. 3 a.m, backdoor deal, oil fields type deal. Some police officers bury disciplinary records, others order outright destruction. In many cases, these agreements themselves are made secret or they outline financial penalties for anyone who reveals their existence. This is where the non-disclosure agreement comes in at. Because of the layers of secrecy, it's hard to know precisely how many have benefited, but those who are familiar with those settlements say that the use is widespread. It happened in almost every agency at every level. And then here's the breakdown of, the police officers at these police departments who have signed agreements. You got one place, Antioch with 4, McFarland with 3. You got South Lake Tahoe Police Department with 3. Look at this one, Southgate in LA, San Fernando with 7, Southgate with 4, LA Sheriff's Department with 4, Beverly Hills with 4, Bell Gardens Police Department with 4. And we all know LA got some of the most corrupt cops out there in the nation, right up there with with New York and Chicago. Fort Bragg Police Department with 4. Merced County Sheriff's Office with 4. Orange County with 7. Look at that shit. Banning Police Department with 7. Montclair with 4. San Diego County Sheriff's Office with 4. San Mateo, Daly City with 4 apiece. And what's it not say that there's a little bit of racism that's mixed in that, right? Because I can guarantee you there's some racism that's baked into this. How could it not be? How could it not be? And again, this doesn't even cover all of the police departments. These were the police departments that are highlighted that even agreed to show their records. This doesn't even cover all the police departments. With allegations of the wrongdoing safely hidden, ousted officers often find new jobs in law enforcement or other sensitive positions. Of the 297 officers identified by this investigation, at least 108 subsequently landed jobs at other law enforcement agencies as security guards or as correctional officers. Former San Fernando Police Chief Jeff Ely, whose documents show was accused by a fellow officer of fixing a traffic ticket for a congressional aide, secured a clean record agreement in 2013, and now works as a sergeant for the Burbank Glendale Pasadena Airport Authority Police. Prosecutors declined to file charges against Ely, who did not respond for requests for comment, concluding that the police department's policy allowed for the chief to dismiss traffic citations. Troy Oviatt, who was a sergeant in the Fairfield Police Department, entered into a clean record agreement as the city was moving to fire him for alleged sexual misconduct. He now works for the Pinole Police Department. Of course, he's not going to comment on it. Concerns about police impunity, including failures to investigate citizens' complaints, conduct unbiased internal investigations, and prosecute unjustified shootings, have received much attention from journalists, activists, and academics, especially since George Floyd's murder in 2020. This investigation is the first to reveal the widespread use of clean record agreements in California, which does not forbid the practice, and the first to describe how these agreements protect and perpetuate police misconduct. Cameron Crawford, the Sierra County Sheriff's Lieutenant who led the internal investigation that concluded Argenian had embezzled anti-crime funds, said in an interview that he had recommended the department to take the case to the DA for a charging decision. But to Crawford's dismay, talk of prosecution disappeared once the county executed a clean record agreement and buried all trace of his alleged thievery. And this is the Argenian guy, because this article here centers around this guy. He said the fear of being sued drove the county's decision to give Argenian a clean record agreement. They said, we don't care where you go as long as you're not our problem. Now, clean record agreements are also undermining recent police reforms, including landmark legislation giving police regulators the power to permanently ban problem officers from work. Crawford considered reporting Argenian to regulators under the new law, Senate Bill 2, which took effect last year. Instead, Crawford kept quiet, worried that if he spoke to regulators, he might be violating the secrecy terms and Argenian's clean record agreement. Sierra County Sheriff Mike Fisher, who said he signed the agreement when he was new and naive, regrets making deals with Argenian. In retrospect, 5 years in, there's no way I would have signed any kind of agreement. I think the whole thing is disturbing. Well, you guys are willing collaborators of this thing, so I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that at all. Fisher believes Argenian may sue him and his department for speaking publicly, but he says he's ready to deal with the consequences. Why are we hiding behind this agreement to protect someone who has gone out and done wrong things? At what point do we have a moral and ethical obligation, regardless of being sued or not, to stand up and say enough is enough? That's what I'm saying. Now, reporters asked 501 police and sheriff's departments in California to produce copies of every clean record agreement they executed since 2010. These requests, made under the California Public Records Act, went to police agencies for cities, counties, schools, and transit agencies. And like I said, this is a long article right here. I'm not going to read all this, right? But at this point, you should get the idea about these secret deals and how they're having an effect on the citizens themselves, because at the end of the day, these are the citizens are the ones that have to pay for that, right? All this misconduct, all this money that they're getting from severance pays and things of that nature, all that stuff is coming out of the taxpayers' dollar. The taxpayers are the ones that's paying for this. So we got all this police misconduct, right? Whether it be ranging from excessive force to downright murder. We got sexual assaults. We've got other forms of misconduct, right? We got, the tried and true lying on a police report to get a person prosecuted. And all that stuff gets whitewashed. The history gets rewritten. So the person who is bouncing around all these police departments throughout the state, and in some cases throughout the country, they're getting the people who are making the decision on hiring these folks are getting a perception that, oh, this guy is on the up and up. This guy has a clean record. All the meanwhile, they out there, don't even realize that that their record is getting washed like how you wash clothes in the laundry. Disgusting. And then what's even worse about this, YouTube don't even want to send out notifications for videos like this. But when it comes to like all kinds of celebrity gossip and all this other stupid, goofy ass shit that's going around, yeah, those videos get all kinds of traffic. But when you come to videos like this that exposes the truth of what's going on, these type of videos don't get the traffic. But anyway, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe button, hit that like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Ho!